Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is part 2 of What If Naruto was in the X-Men. If you guys enjoy this what if, then comment, like and subscribe. Let's go. Also the video goal is 10 likes, so let me know that you're interested in the series and you want the next part. Then go ahead and check out the other what ifs in the channel. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and leave. Also share the video with your friends and link in the description. So let's go. Reporter 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing a monumental clash in the heart of the city. The newest superheroes, known as the Avengers, so-called Earth's mightiest heroes, have assembled to face off against unknown super-powered villains. The battle is already in full swing. Reporter 2. That's right, Tom from Fox News. These Avengers are utilizing their incredible powers and skills to defend against these villains' relentless hit-and-run attacks. Local hero Iron Man's suit is a technological marvel, allowing him to chase down the fiends while firing repulsor blasts to keep them at bay. Reporter 1. The masked one with the bow dressed in purple is proving his marksmanship skills as he launches arrow after arrow, attempting to intercept them as they attempt to flee. But wait, here comes Thor, the god of thunder, summoning lightning to create a barrier, preventing these villains from escaping. Reporter 2. The Wasp and Ant-Man are buzzing around, using their size-changing abilities to confuse and distract them. While the red-hair woman in black acrobatic prowess and martial arts expertise are on full display as she takes down the one wearing the green jacket with lightning-fast strikes. According to these villains' powers, we must assume they are mutants. Reporter 1. Hulk, the green behemoth, is smashing through everything in his path, fiercely pursuing the mutants and causing mass destruction. And let's not forget Captain America, the embodiment of honor and justice, leading the charge and rallying the Avengers to stand strong against this onslaught. Reporter 2. But wait, amidst the chaos, the green-haired teen is doing something with those cars. She's creating a whirlwind of destruction, using cars and debris as weapons against the Avengers. I don't know if the Avengers are enough, we may need the army. Back at Xavier. Kitty, nah Naruto. What do you mean by that? Kitty asked him while her face held a look of shock. Xavier looked toward the young ninja, trying to figure out what he meant by that statement. Everyone in Xavier's study stared at Naruto, awaiting if he will's response again or at least answered what he has meant. Naruto scratched the back of his head. He was always told he had a mouth that got him a lot of trouble, and now these people are waiting for his answers because of that mouth his. Naruto, it just seems like an impossible dream that will have a lot of sacrifice. You guys are following a dream where mutants and humans can one day coexist between each other in peaceful world. I come from a world where people who are born with special abilities that you called mutants and normal people with no special abilities lived together. Unfortunately, it is human nature to fight among each other, and most of the fights are mutants against mutants with non-mutants caught in the crossfire. Like I told Kitty-san, I understand what you're trying to do, but can you honestly say that your students are ready to deal with a much bigger threat? Everyone was quiet and watching the exchange between Naruto and Xavier. Both their facial expression appears to be calm. Scott felt like he needed to defend Professor Xavier's dream and educate Naruto on what he does not know about the X-Men. Scott, I think you are the one who don't understand, Scott said, earning everyone attention including Naruto. The X-Men has dealt with the worst, from a powerful mutant named Magneto who believed humans will enslave and killed off all mutants, to giant robots called Sentinels that hunt mutants, and to a powerful ancient mutant named Apocalypse who wanted to change all humans into human that has the X gene lying dormant in their DNA. The X-Men is always ready to stop those who threaten a peaceful world we are fighting for. Naruto, I have a question for you. Naruto asked in response. This Magneto guy, is he a criminal that murdered millions out of pleasure, or did he do it for the sake of helping innocent mutants? Scott, who was taken back by that response, I don't know. Scott answered, not sure if Magneto has done that. He looked toward the professor, who stood quiet but watched Naruto closely with his hands folded together in front of his face. Naruto, these giant robots you called Sentinels, who built them and why, and what is a robot? Xavier, Bolivar Trask, a former government operative whose father was a victim of Magneto's betrayal as an X-Man. He created the Sentinels to protect humans from dangerous mutants. Magneto had a hard life. He was a victim of World War II, where the Jewish people were persecuted for their religious beliefs. Magneto, no Max Eisenhardt, was Jewish, and he lived his childhood in concentration camps where his people were treated like slaves. Sadly, he unlocked his powers when his parents were murdered in front of him. He was saved by America's forces being led by a super soldier known as Captain America, and since then he changed his name to Eric Magnus Lencher. Eric never overcomes his torments, and he believed that what has happened to the Jewish people during World War II will happen to all mutants. Xavier said, shocking his younger students. Magneto was an X-Man. Kurt whispered in shock. Kitty, no way. This is a joke, right? Kitty asked while turning her attention towards Scott and Jean, both shocked while the latter have her hands covering her mouth. Kitty looked around and only noticed that the younger generations of X-Men was shocked. The older generations like Logan, Hank and Aurora did not look shocked at all. Xavier, Magneto isn't a criminal but a misunderstood individual, and at one point he was a friend who helped me put together the X-Men. You students are the second wave of the X-Men. The first wave of X-Men consisted of myself, Eric, Logan after he was transferred from a Canadian government-sponsored team called Alpha Flight, an Apache native called John Proudstar who went by the codename Thunderbird, a former Interpol agent named Sean Cassidy who went by the codename Banshee, a woman named Amelia Voden Aurora, which she was a young girl at the time. Hank was our team gadget experts who helped part-time but did not want to join the group because he wanted to pursue his future career in mutation. At the time the X-Men was working with the government, and we were supposed to go public as a mutant superhero team, but then me and Eric learned we was being used to cover up a lot of government dirty secrets. Eric turned on us and took the fight to our sponsors, but one of few people he has killed was Franklin Trask, father to Bolivar Trask, and William Stryker Sr. Xavier explained. Naruto. So, Magneto was a victim of cruelty because of his religion, and he saw war as a young child, and when he was older, he joined with you in creating the X-Men, which was being sponsored by your nation's government, and you guys was supposed to go public as heroes, except you found yourself doing their dirty works. What did Magneto found that made him turned on them and you? Hank. Mutants were being tested on against their will, and the ones who survived were sent to a small country called Genosha to live their lives out as slaves working in labor until they died. My God. Then why are we still here discussing this? We should head over to Genosha and free them. Scott yelled out in anger. Colossus. Friend Scott is right, Professor, we cannot allow more of our people to live their lives in chains any longer. Colossus said, agreeing with his friend. Xavier. I understand your concern, but there's nothing that can be done at this moment because that is a country, and their government rules has been established for a long time. We cannot fight a whole country and deal with the repercussion that will occur. Xavier said and looked toward Hank. Hank. Recent reports stated Bolivar Trask has allied himself with the nation of Genosha, and there has reports of an army of sentinels patrolling Genosha, an army so massive that the X-Men are not ready to wage a war. We will not survive if we go to war with Genosha. Hank explained with concerns. Naruto. I don't want to sound like a prick or anything, but it sounds like to me that you guys are not ready to deal with this nation called Genosha, so you guys, he looked at the younger members, can't be too upset with your higher-ups wanting to keep quiet about this. Naruto said, somewhat agreeing with Xavier and Beast. Jean. But that doesn't make it right just to overlook what going with our people. What if we ended up as slaves at Genosha? Should we give up and not try to fight back? Surely you cannot mean that, Naruto. Jean asked him. Naruto. I grew up with the belief that the best course of action is going through hardships in order to build character. As a shinobi we were taught to look under the underneath and take in as much detail of your surrounding and used it to your advantage. Besides having to know ninjutsu, we were taught to know basic combat techniques which we called taijutsu, and more importantly we were taught basic skills that allow us to evade capture or to blend in with our surrounding. What are your own individual skills separated from your kekkai genkai, or what you called mutant powers? Naruto asked, which made Logan to laugh a little. Everybody looked toward Logan. Kitty was wondering if the Canadian man is being an asshole at this moment or if he was going to challenge Naruto's question. She got her answer when she watched Logan unfolded his arms and moved his lips to speak. Logan. You know, kid, I did have my doubts about you, but I think I have figured you out. There is no doubt in my mind that you aren't what you say you are, because I can see that you are a shinobi bub. I can now see why you have your doubts about the X-Men, because this generation is young and inexperienced compared to the first class of X-Men. Logan. Jean was cut off by Logan, who held his hand up to tell her to be quiet. The first class was trained in hand-to-hand combat, infiltration, intel gathering and basic lock-picking in the case we were captured in the field. With this generation only a guy named Gambit has proven he has practiced all 4 of those criteria, but he was raised by an ancient order called the Thieves Guild and they raised him in those criteria, just like you were raised as a shinobi. Naruto. Gambit. Naruto said, trying to place the name. Kitty. Remy LeBeau, the guy you saw with Rogue today, you know, the one with the red-like eyes. Kitty said, leaving out the part on what has happened between the two. Naruto. Oh, him, he's the only one in this generation of X-Men that practiced those skills. Yes, Logan replied. Naruto. What about the others? What about you, Kitty-chan? Have you been trained also in those skills? He asked, looking at Kitty. Kitty looked down before replying, I only know basic martial arts that Logan has been teaching me, teaching us all. Logan. Kid, I know how you feel, and I have been pushing for their training to go to the next level, although some felt that it was too much. He said that last part, looking at Xavier, Scott and Aurora. I want me and Gambit to help train the team and the newest recruits, but depending if you convince me today on this mission, I want you to join the X-Men and assist them with their training. You know, the basic and nothing that will put you in the position where you are forced to reveal your village secrets. Once Logan asked that everyone in the grasps, shocked faces were present on everyone's faces including Naruto. Logan, what are you planning, old friend? Charles asked using his telepathy. Charles, just trust me on this, I know what I'm doing. Naruto. So, that would explain why you were frightened when you saw what that criminal did to your law enforcers. Why haven't your older generation prepped them better than this? Do you know what is going to happen on this mission that you guys are going to accept? Warren-san, you said that Fury Guy gave you intel on this so-called mysterious mutant hunter group that is assassinating mutants, and yet I have been informed that your second-class X-Men biggest highlights were fighting this Magneto, giants called Sentinels, and I'm supposed to believe you guys are ready for this. This Apocalypse guy, which you said that he wanted to change everyone into mutants, what is his story? Naruto said, evading Logan's request. Logan saw that Naruto won't give his answer to his request until he has gotten enough to see the progress on how far this X-Men team has come. Logan chose to be one to convince Naruto to their cause. He looked toward Naruto with a serious look and Naruto returned the look with one of his own. Logan. Apocalypse, no, En-Saba-Nur is an ancient mutant who might be immortal and wanted to enslave the world under his rules by enhancing every non-mutant on this planet into mutants, and the ones who would not survive would have died. He declared that his methods are the path of peace by wiping out those who were unfitted to be mutants. He didn't care about people in general, he just wanted to be worshipped as a god. Even those he could have killed us at any moment, he kept us alive just to show us how powerful he is. We have defeated and imprisoned him in a time capsule by luck, and that's why I'm trying my best to push our training further, because we do not know when he will return or somebody much more powerful will come and destroy this world. Logan explained while watching Naruto. Naruto looked to be in deep thought. Logan. I don't know what has happened on your world and how you ended up here. I understand if you don't want to talk about it because that is your rights to do so, but I can tell you have gone through something like this before, judging from your facial expression. Logan said, trying to convince Naruto further. Naruto. I knew a couple of people that claimed they were doing what is best for others in the sake of peace, but they were looking out for themselves. So yeah, I can relate to what you are saying. People like that are the real reason for chaos in the world, no matter what world it is. I had a sensei who believed that one day people can put aside their hatred and live together in peace, and at one point I blindly believed in that. No, even to this day I still want to believe it is possible. Your dream is worth fighting for, but there are going to be a lot of sacrifices. I just hope each one of you in this room understands that and made peace with whatever the consequences are or is going to be. Kitty looked at him with hope in her eyes and Logan smiled, already knowing his answer. Naruto. But do I really have to wear that standard X-Men uniform? Naruto said, not liking the basis outfit. Xavier, Scott. What wrong with the outfits? Both asked at the same time, which got Kitty to laugh a little. Naruto. You know, it just reminded me of a sensei and his student I remember, they would wear skin-tight clothes. Kitty. Hey professor, maybe me and Logan can help with putting together a new outfit for him that is comfortable for him. Logan. Why do I have to help? Kitty. Like because you are familiar with the Japanese culture, and it seems like Naruto's world run on the culture and traditions. Scott. Well, he is going to need a codename in the field. In the sewer of New York City. The mutant known as Tommy was seen breathing heavily and bleeding heavy as she was trying to get away. Tears ran straight down her eyes because she knew she was going to die. She was holding her right side of her chest where the wound was inflicted upon by a deep slash mark. Sabretooth, responsible for her wounds, walked up to her with his group. Tommy can feel his presence coming from behind and she was trying to walk away faster. The pain was too much for her to use her powers, but her attempt died when a harpoon impacted into a wall, nearly missing her face and kept her from moving any further out of fear. Sabretooth grabbed her by the neck with his clawed hands and slammed her into the wall hard. The impact caused her to scream out in pain. She slowly slides down the wall and sat down on her rear while crying. Sabretooth's, bring her to me. Malice said. Please, please no more, Ard. Sabretooth grabbed her by the neck and pressed a little harder on her neck. He dragged her closer against her will as she struggled to get out of his hold, but it was all in vain. I hope she is willing to give us the location of these Morlocks, plus it is credible on how Malice is here with us doing this while controlling her pet to deal with Fury's new attack dogs. Man, I would love to smash my fist at Captain America's face. Arclight said, not happy as she looked at Sabretooth, who just grinned back, understanding her feelings. I know the feeling, doll. I too wish I was up there with Blockbuster, Scrambler, Prism and the others. I would love to see Roger one last time before I gut him. Sabretooth said. Scalfunter came up to her from the side, already using his powers on his handgun to morph it into a silencer. We wouldn't have to do this if it wasn't for somebody who wanted to start the killing so soon, he said loud enough for Sabretooth to hear him. Sabretooth cocked his head back to look at Scalfunter and Arclight's ridiculing faces. He smirked at them, knowing they would get even more madder, but he knew they will not cross the line to jeopardize this mission and be punished by their boss. Malice grabbed the poor girl by the head while she kept pleading to them to spare her, a plea that fell on deaf ear as Malice brought the girl closer to ear level. My dear, I'm called Malice. I don't give a shit about your pleading, only your suffering will turn me on. Malice used her telepathic powers on the poor girl, earning some screams from her because she wasn't being gentle with her approach. Her screams died down in seconds as Malice released her hold on the poor wounded girl. This one knew the location of both Morlock's tribe. I will pass the information to my pet so she can tell the others and they can stop playing with the Avengers. Let Vertigo cover their escape. Malice said while telepathy giving the location to all her teammates. Scalfunter walked up to Malice and looked at Tommy. Tears were running down her face with pleas of sparing her life. She is no use to us. He pointed the handgun at her face. Tommy grew scared and she started to scream. No. Scalfunter pulled the trigger and shot her in the face. He then kicked her hard in her wounded chest. The impact sends her body flying into the sewer water and floating away. Show off, Sabretooth said with a smile on his face. You know, she is still alive, dying but still alive. Malice said with a twisted smirk. I think I can get a good shot at her. Harpoon said, aiming his harpoon spear while it was glowing yellow. Don't bother. With Sabretooth fatal slash, to me shooting her in the face and kicking her at the same area where she was slashed, I would say she will be dead in 2 minutes or maybe less. For now, focus on the mission. We have the location. It is time to set up a perimeter and lock down every exits. The other Marauders should be able to keep Fury's team off real goal. Scalfunter ordered. We don't need to worry about them, the X-Men will be coming. And the only threat we need to worry about is the older generation like Logan. I know he'll be leading them to us. Sabretooth growled with hatred as he mentioned the X-Men and Logan. You are kidding me, right? Logan as in Weapon X of Canadian Forces? Arclight asked. You're the very same. Sabretooth answered her, which Arclight smiled in return evilly. Back with the X-Men on the Blackbird. Nightcrawler. Man, we could have used Gambit and Rogue help right now, but now they had to go on a date. Although I don't think he is good enough to date my sister. He said from his seat but loud enough for the other to hear him. Logan, when we get back, I'm going to have a word with those two about always being alert, especially if things have been quiet for too long. Logan said while driving the plane with Storm co-piloting by his side. Kitty looked out the window from her seat. She was nervous and memories of Naruto saying they were inexperienced and the revelation of who was an X-Man were taking its toll on her. She turned to her right and looked at Naruto sitting right next to her. Since getting to know him in a very short amount of time, he sure was full of surprises. She kept thinking what his world is like, a world where mutants and non-mutants live together as he described, but there was still conflict, except it sounds like mutants are against each other while non-mutants are caught in the crossfire as he described. I guess to him it is common factor that happened very often. She kept thinking if this is what it means to be an X-Man, then she not too sure if this is what she wants for her future, but for now she isn't sure. Naruto felt her staring at him. He looked at her and already knew she was in conflict. He wanted to hit himself because he's the reason for her anguish. He knew he went too far against these people, they shouldn't have to be the blunt of him opening his mouth, but he couldn't help it, he was angry. Angry because everything he did back home is what got him here in the first place. Throughout his entire life he has done things in the name of his village, for his people. He wanted to laugh at that last thought. His so-called people had mistreated him throughout his whole life because of something he had no control over. He lived his childhood in fear, not for himself but for his little sister, because he did not want the hatred he received be placed on her. Ever since being trapped on this world, his thoughts always go back to ones he left behind. He wonders how Katsumi is doing. Was she able to leave Konoha with the help of his surviving clan members, and is she angry with him because he is not there? Naruto always promised her no matter what he would always be there for her, but now he can't help but feel he broke that promise. He knew beating himself up wasn't going to help, but he needed answers and it was time to talk to Kurama. Inside Naruto's mindscape, in front of this huge cage, Naruto walked up to the cage and folded his arms together close to his chest. He stared at something huge and red on the other side of the cage. The creature lifted its head up briefly, opening its eyes, which was pitched red, before disregarding him and setting its head back down and closing its eyes. Naruto, still not speaking to me, huh? It has been many months before we have ended up here on this world. We have been on speaking term then, and since coming here to this world you still won't talk to me, why? Naruto, how long will this continue, Kurama? Naruto, look, I didn't have a choice. That bastard was trying to send us away using those eyes of his. I thought I could counter that jutsu using a seal jutsu. How the hell should I know that it would create a portal pulled us to this world? At least he is dead by my hands. Naruto said nothing, but his facial expression showed his displeasure. Naruto, I met a legendary thunder god today. Naruto, the legendary thunder god that driven the dark elves off of our world. I knew it was him, judging by the old manuscript I have seen in the library and his presence. It did not feel human or demonic, but it felt stronger, godlike. He was the real deal. You know, my bookworm of a teammate would have been excited being in this world if she was transported here instead of me. The creature made no response but kept quiet. Sigh. He told me that he cannot send us back to our world because there is a spell placed on our world by a woman many years ago. The creature moved a little at that last comment and Naruto noticed its reactions. We both should know that woman was Kagaya. The question is, why did she place a spell around our world? The creature lifted its head and looked at Naruto intensely. Naruto returned the look with one of his own intense stares. They stood like that for nearly a couple seconds, neither one of them saying a word to each other. Naruto grew tired of the game. The least you do is give me something so that we can figure this out together. Get out. The creature roared, and sending Naruto out of his mind and back to the real world. Naruto awoke with Kitty shaking him with a worry look on her face. He stared at her and noticed that they had landed, and everyone was looking at him with a worry experience and fear that looked like it was killing them. Jean looked worried the most for some reason, but he decided to pay her no mind until he saw the condition Kitty was in. Okay, Kitty said, feeling very nervous and breathing heavily. Logan gave him a stern look and Naruto understood why everyone looked worse. He has released a little bit of his tenant's power along with his own killing intents, and that is why everyone looked like they wanted to drop dead, everyone except himself and Logan. Kurt. Oh man, my heart is still racing. Just what the heck was that? He said, trying to calm himself. Scott. It felt like I was going to die. Scott said, trying to calm down. You were speaking to someone or something within your mind, Jean said in fear, not because of Naruto but because of the demonic presence. Naruto looked toward Kitty and felt very regretful because she was sitting right next to him when it happened. He clapped his hands together and his hands started to glow green. He placed his hands on her forehead and chests. Kitty felt a soothing sensation entered her body. Her nerves were starting to calm down and her breathing went back to normal. Naruto's Ki was no longer affecting any of the X-Men. Beast was the first to comment over having to witness Naruto's technique. "Hank, did you just heal her?" he asked amazed. "Yes, I did, and I apologize to everyone here. When I was born on October 10th, a demonic fox was sealed inside of me because it was destroying my home village under Obito's control. I was speaking to it in my mind to get some answers on who has placed a spell that prevents me or anyone for entering my home planet, and I have upset him, and he kicked me out of my own mind. A little bit of its chakra was leaked out and that what you guys felt, so I do apologize for that." Everyone was shocked upon him revealing that secret about himself. Logan looked the most upset because he saw the kid as a mini version of himself, except he was a baby who was just born and got a demon sealed inside of him while he was a grown man who was kidnapped and brainwashed to be a weapon. "Who made you into living weapon?" Logan asked. "My father, who was the leader of my village at that time. He died with my mother, who was the previous holder of the same demon that is in me. Obito, who he thought was dead, came back for revenge and unsealed the demon from my mother. Both of my parents' dying wish was for me to be seen as a hero because my willpower kept the QB sealed, but there were too many victims who lost their loved ones, and they could not acknowledge me as a hero. My birthdays were always living in fear from people who wished to do me harm because they thought I was the demon instead of seeing the scared child always protecting his little sister at all cost. I never got attacked because I had some protectors." Dead silence hit the Blackbird. Everybody was lost in their own thoughts on what he has just said. Logan shook his own head and walked over to the exit of the plane. "Logan, we deal with this later. Everybody stay focused, we have a mission to complete. Time to use our codenames. Naruto for now. Chuck wants you known as Marvel, which to be honest I would have gone with Shinobi." "Marvel? Yeah, Shinobi would have been better, but I will deal with this name for now," he said while Jean was shrugging. "I don't see the problem. My codename is Marvel Girl. I think Marvel is a good code name due to your abilities and experience." Everybody got up and exited the plane one by one except for Naruto and Kitty. Naruto was held back from leaving because he was being hugged by Kitty, her head buried into his chest as tears were gushing out. "Shadowcat. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry," she muttered over and over. Naruto slowly released her from his waist and looked her in the eyes. "Stop it, what done is done, nothing going to change that. I hate when people feel sorry for me because of what has happened to me. I went through my share of hardships and pains. I don't have time to cry anymore, and neither should you," he said, leaving the X-Jet and her. At the Morlocks' hideout, a huge muscular disfigured mutant known to his people as Sunder was seen gathered around his people telling stories of old legends. "And so, the dinosaurs are not dead, but they were relocated somewhere safe far from here at a place called the Savage Lands," Sunder said, finishing his story. Again, the children of the Morlocks chanted over and over. "Maybe some other times, my children," Sunder said, earning a bunch disappointment from the children and some adults. "Hey, now why you must go and disappoint your people," a voice said, earning the Morlocks' attention. Sabretooth was standing at the entrance of the Morlocks' lair. "I have a story for you kids. Once upon a time the Morlocks were living happy ever after, and then the Marauders came fucked it up for the Morlocks." When he said that, Arclight, Scalfunter, Malice and Harpoon showed on each of his side with murder in their eyes and a wicked smile across their faces. "Stay sharp, team, and be on a lookout. There is no telling what we will find down here," Cyclops said, walking behind Wolverine while the rest of the team are behind him. Naruto, now known as Marvel, followed Shadowcat closely. His face showed a look uncertainly. Some people might have thought that it was his nerves acting up, but to Marvel, some part of him was itching for another fight. His fight against the Wrecking Crew wasn't enough, but instead, it has roused him up for some action since being stuck on this world. He looked beside him and saw the fear present on Kitty's face, and that was the confirmation he needed that this team has not been through this type of danger before. "Calm down, control your breathing. That is good, just take it easy," he told Shadowcat. She looked up at him with fear before she shook her head and decided to heed his advice. "I'm sorry, it just I have a lot on my mind and it like painful, Yeah, I can tell, but right now you need to focus because your teammates will need you. I know that, she nearly shouted, alerting her teammates. Shadowcat gave an apology toward the rest of her teammates. Hey, can I ask you something? She said to him. Sure, he said in response. Have you ever killed anybody? She asked him. Yeah, I have. My first kill was a traitor toward my village who tried to get me to betray my village but instead tricked my little sister because he wanted to steal the forbidden scroll from my village. He was planning to kill me and my little sister because I have a demon fox spirit sealed inside of me. He threatens not only my life but my sister's life, the only person to first care for me, and he nearly killed her. I gave into my rage and tapped into the QB's chakra, but it was too much for me to control. I ripped that traitor in half. It was the first time I realized that if I'm not in control I can be overwhelmed by the fox's chakra. I can remember the look on his face, and it was fear. I wanted to run away, but the leader of my village stopped me. Do you know what he told me? Shadowcat shook her head, her attention glued to his story. It is okay for you to feel regret because that is what makes you human. The moment you were born into the shinobi lifestyle, you have inherited all its struggles. A shinobi must endure no matter what because that is our nindo and way of life. That seems very, Shadowcat tried to say but interrupted by him. Harsh. Marvel answered for her, and she nodded her head in response. To you it may seem harsh, but for me growing up in a shinobi village there wasn't that many options for me to pick from. Even if I didn't want to become a shinobi, my village leader, and the council would have found another way for me to become a shinobi, and that also meant forcing the shinobi lifestyle upon me. Now thinking back on it, there was an option, but it would have put Katsumi in grave danger, which is why I stood put in Konoha until I was sure she was able to hold her own. He said while eyes started to twitch, but not to what he has just said. What do you mean? She asked, but he held his hand out to prevent her from speaking any further. At the same time Wolverine tensed up while the rest of the team stopped walking and turned their attention toward the Canadian-born mutant. Logan, what up? Scott asked while Jean started to hold her head. Blood, lot of blood, that mutant hunting group is here, and they are killing the Morlocks. He is right because I can sense their fear, lot of fear coming straight down that direction, Naruto said to the rest of the team. Oh my god, Jean cried out. Jean, Scott said with concern in his voice. Scott, the Morlocks are being killed. I saw Sabretooth and a group of other mutants killing them. Jean said in fear. Before anyone could have responded, Logan took off while Beast called out to him. The rest of X-Men and Naruto started to run after Wolverine. Kitty-san, Kurt-san, listen, I'm not so good with giving out orders because of lack of experiences and I was more a hand-on guy compared to my cousin Kai, but please be careful when we engage this group. Do not let the revelation of this group being mutants distract you from the mission. Your abilities are closer to infiltration than offensive unless you have the combat experience to do both, but you too shouldn't risk your life unless you must. He said, keeping up with them. Right, both of them said with a nervous tone. This mission will affect a lot of people on this team, but perhaps it is needed for them to grow, especially if they are serious about that old man's dream. Marvel thought to himself. Flashback. Naruto, is it? I can tell that you are no stranger to death. We are shinobi, and in this life, we are all tools to be used. No man or woman isn't truly free until they are dead, and only then will that person find the freedom he or she seek. Are you telling me that we all slaves to this lifestyle? Are you telling me that one cannot break his or her chains and escape this lifestyle while disappearing from the world? One can imagine, child, but the moment you turned your back against the village they will hunt you down. And if they cannot get to you, they will get to others who are close to you. Yet the only people who got to you was my team and me. I read about you, you have turned against your village for the killing of kekkai genkai people. You did it for those who could not defend themselves. You were a hero, but your people cast you out because you sided with kekkai genkai users. Naruto, there is no such thing as a hero, especially if you are a shinobi. You have some people in this world who enjoy killing because they can. When I was a child, I have killed a group of academy students not because I wanted to prove I was skilled, because I thought it was a game. I was very sick in the head and to this day I'm still am. You will meet more people like me, mark my words. You will meet ill, depraved monsters in human skins, and you will be forced to decide. Flashback ended. Naruto shook his head of the memory and refocused himself. Wolverine busted through the entrance with the X-Men right behind him. What they saw could have broken any sane person that not accustomed to senseless killing. They saw innocent mutants screaming for their lives and were being killed. Mutants of all ages were slaughtered like lambs to a meat factory. Sabretooth was gutting screaming women while hanging innocent children to chain hooks like cattle. The X-Men saw a man gunning down whoever was trying to escape, his bullets never missing a target. The X-Men saw this big guy, Sunder, get impaled into the wall in a resemble-like figure of Christ. He screamed out for them to stop, but to no avail was his plea was answered. Another man with harpoon spears was throwing his energy spears at some of the Morlocks that were trying to fight back. A woman with short black hair kneeling over a body in a crater she has created. She stood up and turned her attention toward the X-Men. The rest of the Marauders did the same. "Hello Weapon X, I see you have brought along your friends, the X-Men," she said with a twisted smile which angered Logan and Colossus. I know you." Wolverine turned his attention toward Arclight, Scalfunter and Sabretooth. "Greycrow, Creed," he yelled. Logan unsheathed his claws and leapt after the woman in a blind rage, but he was intercepted by Sabretooth, who leapt at him first. Both collided with each other, slashing and clawing at each other. Neither one of them cared if their blood was flying around. "X-Men, Marauders, take them down, kill them all." Cyclops and Scalfunter both ordered at the same time. In the dimly lit Morlock tunnels, a fierce battle raged between the X-Men and the formidable Marauders. Tension hung heavily in the air as the backdrop of the battle was filled with the unsettling presence of dead and frightened Morlocks. Cyclops, the tactical leader of the X-Men, struggled to maintain order amidst the chaos. His ruby quartz visor emitted beams of concussive force, but he found it difficult to land a clear shot on the agile Scalfunter, who darted around with unnerving speed. Wolverine, his claws gleaming ominously, clashed fiercely with Sabretooth, their savage snarls echoing through the tunnels as their brutal blows shook the very foundations. Storm, the weather-wielding goddess, summoned gusts of wind and crackling lightning, attempting to keep Arclight at bay. The Marauder's sheer strength proved to be a formidable challenge, as she relentlessly charged through Storm's elemental onslaught. Marvel Girl, the telekinetic powerhouse, strained to shield her teammates from the onslaught of Harpoon's javelins while simultaneously reaching out to probe the minds of their enemies. Colossus, his metallic form towering over the battlefield, stood as a stalwart guardian, using his immense strength to both protect his teammates and strike back against the Marauders. Nightcrawler, with his acrobatic grace and teleportation abilities, danced around the chaotic battlefield, momentarily confusing his opponents, and providing the X-Men with brief respite. Shadowcat, her body phasing through solid matter, moved swiftly and stealthily, attempting to disorient Malice, who sought to manipulate her teammates' emotions and turn them against each other. However, the darkness of the tunnels masked Malice's movements, making her difficult to track and counter effectively. "We need to get these people to safety, Nightcrawler, Angel," Cyclops shouted while battling against Scalfunter, who was trying to avoid being shot at. Amidst this chaotic clash, Nightcrawler, with his agility and teleportation, proved to be an asset. Angel, soaring above the battlefield with his majestic wings, approached Nightcrawler, his voice urgent as he requested assistance in evacuating the remaining frightened and injured Morlocks. Nightcrawler's golden eyes widened with determination as he heard Angel's plea. With a nod of agreement, he sprang into action, his teleportation skills enabling him to swiftly reach the trapped and terrified Morlocks. With gentle reassurance and a calming presence, Nightcrawler guided them to safety, carefully navigating through the treacherous tunnels, avoiding the ongoing battle as much as possible. Angel, his wingspan unfurled, swooped down, providing cover and protection for Nightcrawler and the rescued Morlocks. His soothing voice and gentle touch offered solace to those who had endured unspeakable horrors. "Poor little X-Man, all you can do is defend against the attack, and you with the blonde hair, you thought you could have launched a sneak attack. I'm flattered that you thought stopping me will stop my fun. You all should be lucky I'm multitasking right, otherwise I would introduce you to my pet, Polaris." Malice said telepathy in Naruto and Marvel Girl's mind. "Great. She is a mind walker. No wonder she knew what I had planned. She is too dangerous to be left alone to her own device. She needs to be dealt with and fast." Marvel said out loud. "No Naruto, we do not kill, that is not the X-Men way." Marvel Girl said in response, turning her attention to Malice, who smiled back. "Look around you. Take a good look at your teammates and these monsters. Then tell me if this look like a normal fight. He spoke. Jean looked at each of her teammates except Scott. She saw each of her teammates struggling against their opponents while taking damage. The only ones who were on even ground with their opponents are Wolverine and Colossus. She saw Angel trying to assist survivors with Nightcrawler's assistance, but the female marauders with the silver armor started to clap her hands together. The effect created a shockwave which sent Angel hurtling into a wall strongly before falling to the floor, leaving him unconscious on the floor. This isn't good. We are up against a group we have no intel on, but they seem to have some knowledge on us, or more precisely the X-Men. Marvel spoke to himself. He pointed at Arclight and Colossus fighting. She took all of his hits and there are no damaged marks on her. I can only conclude that she is immune to physical attacks, but what about mind attacks? He said to Marvel Girl, planting an idea in her head. Yes, I see your point, but I won't kill her. Marvel Girl started attacking Arclight with a telepathic attack. Arclight began panning around holding her head in agony, releasing a loud scream which caught the attention of Scalphunter. He took his attention from Cyclops and started firing at Marvel Girl. Luckily Naruto was able to tackle her out the way. Regaining his composure, he set off after Scalphunter. Scalphunter started shooting at him and he was getting angry with each missed shot. He quickly pulled his gun up to block Naruto's attacks, who amid dodging each shot pulled out 2 combat knives from his belt buckle. The two fighters were engaged in a deadly game of guns versus knives, both trying to find an opening so they can capitalize on each other's mistake. Naruto kept trying to bring his knives closer to Scalphunter's neck, while Scalphunter was blocking with his weapon with one hand, while his other free hand was reaching for his sidearm handgun. With one arm he pushed Naruto away and quickly aimed his handgun at him. Naruto stared at him with an angry look on his face. Scalphunter smirked and pulled the trigger. The shot echoed around the surrounding area, but instead of feeling happy with his victory, his smirk faded away and in its place was anger. Scalphunter was fuming that he shot him at point blank, headshot to be precise, and the kid was still standing. He looked down and saw his answer. The girl known as Shadowcat was holding this boy by the ankle halfway underneath the ground. He knew about her, he knew about the X-Men in general, and he knew her powers are not meant to be underestimated. He was aware that her ability would make her a better fighter, perhaps even an assassin, but right now he knew he must remove her from this fight, even if it means he must kill her. He changed the handgun in his hand to a magnum-looking gun and slowly pointed toward her. On instinct, without questioning if that gun can hurt her or not, she quickly let go of Naruto, and on instinct Scalphunter quickly aimed at Marvel and shot him. Naruto! She screamed out his name in fear, alerting everybody in the area. Naruto's body hit the floor from having to be shot in the head. Scalphunter would have enjoyed his victory until he and Shadowcat saw Naruto's body exploded into a small smoke of cloud and in its place was a damaged metal board. Before Scalphunter could react, he felt a sharp blade across his neck. "You move and you will lose your life," Naruto whispered to him in his ear. "The rest of you people, I do not know who you are, but I have your leader. It against my best judgment, so I will say this once and only once: surrender now. We don't need any more bloodshed. We can end this peacefully, or we can continue fighting each other to the death, your choice." Naruto shouted out while holding Scalphunter hostage. Each of the marauders looked at each other and started to laugh. "Oh my fucking god, where did you find this kid, Runt? He is too hilarious than Rogers, although there is something different about him that I don't like," Creed said with a twisted smile on his face while fighting Wolverine. "You foolish child, did you think we give a shit about each other?" Malice said mockingly. However, the manipulative Malice, recognizing the threat posed by Naruto's actions, decided to launch a devastating psychic assault. Malice's telepathic powers surged forth, aiming to overwhelm Marvel's mind and render him defenseless. As the psychic onslaught intensified, Marvel gritted his teeth, fighting against the invasive force invading his thoughts. Just as it seemed that Marvel would be overwhelmed by Malice's psychic assault, Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, leapt into action. With her own formidable telepathic abilities, she interposed herself between Naruto and Malice, engaging in a fierce psychic confrontation. The clash of their telepathic powers reverberated through the tunnels, creating ethereal energy waves that disrupted the very fabric of the surroundings. Marvel Girl, her eyes glowing with raw power, summoned every ounce of her strength to counter Malice's relentless assault. The strain was evident on her face as she struggled to hold her ground. Each telepathic surge was met with an equally potent counterattack, as the battle of wills intensified. Despite her formidable resistance, Malice's powers began to gain the upper hand. Marvel Girl, her defenses gradually crumbling, found herself pushed to the brink. Sweat dripped from her brow as she fought to maintain her focus and protect herself from the relentless onslaught. The scene was filled with tension as the battle of telepathic might raged on. With a surge of strength and cunning, Scalfunter managed to break free from Naruto's grip, causing both mutants to be forced apart, each retreating to a safe distance. Their eyes locked with determination, Marvel and Scalfunter circled each other warily, acutely aware of the imminent danger that loomed. Marvel's agile movements mirrored Scalfunter's evasiveness, making it difficult for either of them to land a decisive blow. During their intense battle, the ferocious Sabretooth, ever the opportunist, seized the chance to exploit Marvel's divided attention. With a feral growl, he lunged towards Marvel, aiming to catch him off guard and incapacitate him. However, Marvel's honed instincts and quick reflexes proved to be a formidable defense. As Sabretooth pounced, Marvel deftly sidestepped the attack, his hand whipping out with lightning speed, brandishing a gleaming kunai. With unyielding determination, Marvel's kunai found its mark, striking true and inflicting significant damage upon Sabretooth. The savage mutant staggered back, his snarl morphing into a pained grimace as blood spilled from the wound Marvel had inflicted. The clash between Marvel and Sabretooth rippled through the chaotic battleground, momentarily drawing the attention of the combatants engaged in their own struggles. The sight of Naruto's successful counterattack provided a glimmer of hope for the beleaguered X-Men Evolution team, reaffirming their belief in their ability to overcome their powerful adversaries. With Sabretooth momentarily weakened, Marvel seized the opportunity to press his advantage. His movements became a blur of agility and precision, launching a flurry of swift strikes and calculated maneuvers. Each attack was executed with meticulous precision, exploiting the vulnerabilities exposed by his earlier blow. Sabretooth, his regenerative abilities strained by the damage inflicted, found himself overwhelmed by Marvel's relentless assault. The air crackled with energy as Marvel's attacks landed with devastating impact, leaving Sabretooth reeling and struggling to mount a coherent defense. As the battle between Marvel and Sabretooth reached its crescendo, the surrounding chaos served as a backdrop, mirroring the intensity of the clash. The resounding clashes of metal against bone, punctuated by grunts and roars, reverberated through the Morlock tunnels. "Oh, little girl, you are making the biggest mistake of your life thinking you can challenge me, but I will humor you again," Malice said, sending an astral projection at Marvel Girl. Marvel Girl met Malice's attack with her astral projection. Marvel Girl was showing signs of struggle with her battle. Malice grinned wickedly and decided to taunt her. "What the matter, little girl? Are you having a hard time fighting back? I guess Xavier has been holding you back on purpose because he fears the potential you may have, or he just taught you a few tricks and hope for the best. Ha ha ha, what a joke you are." Malice's astral projection was strangling Marvel Girl's astral projection. "I don't need to beat you to win," Marvel Girl said using her telepathy. Malice sensed something was wrong. Malice took notice that her physical body was in danger. Everything slows down for her as she let out a telepathic scream when she saw the blonde spiky hair body collide a swirling energy ball into her chest. Malice's body started to spin and collide against the sewer wall across the room they were in. The attack was strong enough to put her body into a critical state, and with her astral projection faded away with a dying scream. Sabretooth fighting both Marvel and a recovering Wolverine flipped Wolverine into couple damaged barrels. "Give up, you little runts. You ex-geeks don't stand a chance. You were foolish to bring the children here, then again that one kid is anything but average. I ask him what make him so special when I'm ripping his gut, I owned him that much," Sabretooth yelled out. As the tumultuous battle raged on within the oppressive confines of the Morlock tunnels, Scalfunter, the calculating mutant, surveyed the chaotic scene with a keen eye. The realization dawned upon him that his marauders, composed of himself, Arclight, Sabretooth, Harpoon, and Malice, were losing ground to the formidable X-Men team, which included Marvel, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Marvel Girl, Storm, Shadowcat, Angel, Colossus and this new recruit. Scalfunter's strategic instincts kicked into high gear as he weighed the odds and recognized the diminishing chances of victory. With a firm resolve and a telepathic message to Malice, he made the difficult decision to initiate a tactical retreat, knowing that regrouping and planning a new strategy would serve their interests better than a continued confrontation. As Scalfunter relayed his intentions to his Marauder allies, a plan swiftly took shape. Utilizing their knowledge of the tunnels and their individual mutant abilities, they exploited the chaotic nature of the battle to create diversions and disorient their opponents. Sabretooth, his battered form still reeling from Marvel's earlier devastating attack, unleashed a primal roar, drawing the attention of the X-Men team. While the X-Men momentarily focused on the savage mutant, Arclight and Harpoon seized the opportunity to launch a coordinated assault against their distracted adversaries. Arclight's raw strength allowed her to deliver bone-crushing blows, while Harpoon's precision with his javelins allowed him to target vulnerable spots toward a couple of walls to force it to collapse. The combined assault aimed to create a temporary opening, enabling the Marauders to escape the clutches of the X-Men. Malice, with her manipulative nature and telepathic prowess, sought to sow discord among the X-Men, clouding their judgment and hindering their pursuit. She whispered unsettling thoughts and triggered dormant fears within their minds, causing confusion and chaos in their ranks. Nightcrawler, ever vigilant, anticipated the Marauders' escape attempt. His teleportation abilities allowed him to swiftly intercept their retreat, appearing in strategic locations to disrupt their flight path. He aimed to prevent their seamless escape and provide his X-Men allies with a chance to regroup and mount a counteroffensive. However, the Marauders, driven by their desperation, fought tooth and nail to break free from Nightcrawler's interference. They employed a combination of brute force and calculated tactics, exploiting the tunnel's labyrinthine layout to elude their pursuers. As the Marauders made their daring escape, the Morlock tunnels became a maze of shifting shadows and echoes, their footsteps fading into the distance. Nightcrawler, driven by determination, pursued them relentlessly, teleporting with unmatched agility and anticipation. Yet, despite Nightcrawler's valiant efforts, the Marauders managed to exploit their mutant abilities and the chaotic nature of the tunnels to slip away, leaving behind only lingering traces of their presence. With the Marauders successfully evading capture, the X-Men regrouped, their determination unwavering. They knew that while this encounter had ended with the Marauders' retreat, the conflict was far from over. The Morlock tunnels stood as a testament to the toll the battle had taken, with the X-Men and Marvel steeling themselves for the challenges that lay ahead. I got no scent, they were able to mask their sense. It likes they just vanished in that area, somebody else showed up and helped them escape. Wolverine angrily said, sheathing his claws. This is insane, they murdered mutants. They were mutants themselves, and they killed their own kind. Nightcrawler said with disbelief in his voice. Marvel stands up and helps Shadowcat to her feet before looking around at the carnage the Marauders had caused. Rare for you, but very common from where I'm from. They called themselves Marauders, and judging from their reactions of you happen to know some of them. Logan San. He looks toward his right and noticed that Angel was badly damaged, his wing appeared to be heavily damaged. Storm was already by his side and was holding him by his shoulders with her arms. Warren need medic now, Storm said, which got Marvel to pay attention to what she said. He looked around trying to spot who is this team field doctor, but he could not find that person. Naruto shook his head in disbelief that this team went on missions without a doctor present. No, he wouldn't stand for this and already started to think how this team can improve itself. Yeah, I recognize the guy with gun along with Creed. The guy with the gun is called John Greycrow, he is a mercenary that goes by the name Scalfunter. That woman you were fighting, Colossus, there was something familiar about her. I know I have met her before, but I cannot remember right now. Then there is Victor Creed, me and him have a history together. Logan said in a thinking pose. Gosh, she was strong, I did not think she was able to compete with me in a battle of strength. She may be stronger than Monet. Colossus said, looking around for any signs of the Marauders while still in his steel form. Marvel Girl scanned the area with her telepathy and sensed no other presence other than the X-Men. I'm not picking up anyone but us. Marvel walks around the area, his thoughts were replaying what occurred, his eyes widen upon realization. We need to leave now and get back to our base. We have wounded civilians +1, our own need medical attention. He said, noticing the pain Angel is in. Storm, still holding onto Angel, looked around desperately as if she was trying to find someone. Storm, I don't see Evan here, I think he is safe. I need to be sure, kitten, he is my nephew. I do not want to tell my sister if something bad has happened to him, I will never be able to forgive myself. It was just then that they have received a message from their leader, Professor Xavier. X-Men returned to the school. This attack was a distraction. Storm Evans is here with some of the other survivors from another Morlocks tribe. Elsewhere, the Marauders were running away in the sewer when they heard explosions. Sabretooth smiling back while laughing. The rest of the Marauders started to laugh with him. Scalfunter stopped running and signaled for the others to stop. Malice's eyes glowed, and she began to spoke, except it wasn't her voice, but another spoke in her place, a man's voice. Report, the voice said through Malice. Scalfunter steps forward toward Malice. Sir, mission accomplished, but we had interference from the X-Men. They have a new member, somebody young but well experienced with abilities far exceed a normal mutant. Speak, Greycrow, the voice said. The X-Men has a new recruit, and he is not in the files you gave us. His name is Naruto from what we heard, and he is a teenager from what Malice was able to dig up, but his behavior showed he is a trained killer like Wolverine, Creed, and me. I was able to glimpse a little of his ability. I was able to see him, this kid is abnormal. He was able to stand his ground against Scalfunter. I never had seen anyone like him. Sir, what are your next orders? Rendezvous with the others and return to base. For now, let Xavier gather his strength, he and his X-Men will be dealt with. I'm more curious about who this new player is. I wish to study him and see what make his genetics tick. As you commanded, drive. Essex, the Marauders said as a union. Good, because the little runt made a fool out of me, and once you are done with him, sir, I wish to devour him. Sabretooth said, angry that he was losing to a kid. It has been an hour since the X-Men returned home with other survivors. Naruto, feeling concerned about leaving the dead bodies of the Morlocks alone in the tunnels, that he created a couple of hundred shadow clones to give them proper burial that he knows of from his own culture and traditions of his world when they cannot bury the bodies quickly. He made sure to inform each of his clones to scatter the ashes of the remains to the wind. Xavier greeted them in the sub-basement with some of the Avengers, some other Morlocks like Callisto, Spike, a little mutant girl with bones sticking out of her body and face, and Nick Fury by his side. Evans, shouted Aurora as she ran toward him and embraced him. I'm okay, Auntie-O, just a little bit banged up, but luckily the Avengers were around to help us push back those attackers. Scott, noticing how tense the situation is if the Avengers and Fury are here in his home, began to ask the question, so this attack we experience is no different from what the Avengers went through? He asked, already concluding that this was a joint attack and that this group may already be bigger than what they expected. Yes, son, us Avengers came across these tyrants in New York City. They gave us the slips, but we were able to follow them into the Morlocks tunnels and battled against them, saving who we can, but it seems you guys went through the same thing we did. Captain America said, informing Cyclops. Do you know anything about this group? They seem well prepared for us. Iron Man inquired. Hear what we know, Rogers. This mercenary group consisted of mutants, and one of them you know as well as me, Rogers, and this Creed. Victor Creed, Logan said, earning a concerned look from both Captain America and Nick Fury. I'm sorry, but who is Victor Creed? Is that somebody we are supposed to know about? Iron Man asked, feeling left out. As they talked among each other, Fury took notice of one of Xavier's newest recruits he never seen before, and that person is Naruto, as he watches him lead other surviving members of the Morlocks to the other Morlocks within the building, being guided by Beast, Marvel Girl, and Shadowcat. Fury noted to him that he needs to keep an eye out on the newest recruit. With Naruto, Marvel Girl, Beast, and Shadowcat. I want to show you guys something that I feel will be beneficial to the team. On my word, we called this technique medical jutsu, so lead to where the others may be at. He said as he was being guided to the Medi Lab in the building. As Naruto guided the surviving Morlock members, an angel being carried by him through the halls of the X-Men's home base towards the Medi Lab, an air of urgency filled the atmosphere. The injured Morlocks, their faces etched with pain and fatigue, looked to Naruto with a glimmer of hope, placing their trust in his remarkable abilities. Upon reaching the Medi Lab, Naruto wasted no time in springing into action. He swiftly summoned his shadow clones, the mystical duplicates of himself, each capable of performing complex tasks. The clones dispersed, tending to the injured Morlocks with delicate care, their hands emanating a warm healing glow. Beast, with his scientific intellect and insatiable curiosity, stood by Naruto's side, his eyes widening in astonishment as he witnessed the intricate and powerful medical jutsu in action. The blending of chakra manipulation and healing techniques left him spellbound, a newfound appreciation for Naruto's abilities blooming within him. Kitty Pryde observed in awe as Naruto's clones moved with unparalleled precision, their healing touch mending broken bones and closing wounds. The young mutant couldn't help but voice her amazement. "Naruto, this is incredible. I've seen some impressive abilities, but this medical jutsu of yours is beyond anything I could have imagined." Jean Grey, the compassionate and empathetic telepath, lent her psychic support to the healing process mentally. Her presence infused the room with a calming aura, amplifying the effects of Naruto's medical jutsu and easing the mental anguish of the injured Morlocks. She shared Kitty's sentiment. "Naruto, your healing abilities are truly extraordinary. You possess a gift that combines science, chakra manipulation, and a deep understanding of the human body. It's remarkable to witness." Naruto, his focus unyielding as he administered healing with his shadow clones, acknowledged their awe with a humble smile. "Thanks, guys. I've trained tirelessly to master these techniques. In my world, we ninjas learn various arts, including medical jutsu. It's all about channeling chakra, using hand seals, and understanding the body's energy system." Beast, his eyes shining with admiration, interjected, "Your knowledge and skill are truly impressive, Naruto. Your ability to blend medical science and chakra manipulation is revolutionary. I can only imagine the possibilities and advancements this could bring to our own field of study." As the injured Morlocks gradually experienced relief from their pain, the conversation continued amidst the healing process. Naruto's technique, infused with compassion and unwavering determination, mended bones, closed wounds, and rejuvenated the weary bodies of the injured. Kitty Pryde, her voice filled with gratitude, spoke up, "Naruto, you've given these Morlocks a chance to heal, to recover from their ordeal. Your abilities have brought hope and comfort to those who have suffered. We're lucky to have you on our side." She kept watching as he performed this miracle. Jean Grey, her telepathic connection strengthening the bond between Naruto and the injured, added, "You possess a rare gift, Naruto. Your healing abilities are a testament to your compassion and strength. The Morlocks, as well as our injured comrade, Angel, owe their recovery to your remarkable skills." In this extraordinary display of teamwork and unique talents, Naruto, Beast, Kitty Pryde, and Jean Grey bore witness to the incredible potential that lay within their collaboration. Through Naruto's awe-inspiring medical jutsu, the injured Morlocks and Angel found solace in the promise of a brighter future, while the X-Men and their allies grew ever stronger in their resolve to protect and heal those who had suffered. As the healing continued, the Medi-Lab became a sanctuary of renewed hope. Naruto could not help but be reminded when he was receiving such praise when he first learned medical jutsu. Flashback to when Naruto was 12 years old. In a peaceful training area within the Konoha Hospital facility, Naruto diligently practiced his medical jutsu on a wounded rabbit under the watchful guidance of Shizune, a seasoned medical ninja, inside one of their medical rooms. Beside him stood his 7-year-old little sister, Katsumi, who bore a striking resemblance to their mother, Kushina Uzumaki, except for the two adorable cat ears atop her head and a fluffy cat tail swaying gently behind her. As Naruto performed the intricate hand seals, channeling his chakra with precision, Shizune observed with a discerning eye. A warm smile adorned her face as she recognized the progress Naruto had made under her tutelage. "Remarkable work, Naruto," Shizune praised, her voice tinged with admiration. "Your control over chakra and the finesse of your jutsu are truly impressive. You've come a long way." Naruto beamed with pride, grateful for Shizune's mentorship. "Thanks, Shizune-sensei. I couldn't have done it without your guidance and patience. You're the best." Katsumi's curious eyes sparkled as she observed her older brother's practice. Her cat ears perked up with interest, displaying her enthusiasm for the world of ninjutsu. "Big brother, that was amazing. Can you heal people with those jutsu?" Naruto kneeled to meet Katsumi's gaze, a loving smile on his face. "Yes, Katsumi, with these healing jutsu, I can mend wounds and make people feel better. Just like Shizune-sensei taught me, I can help others when they're hurt or in pain, and that include you, my little kitten." Katsumi's fluffy tail swayed excitedly behind her as she imagined the possibilities. "That's so cool. I want to learn medical jutsu too, Naruto. Naruto's eyes lit up with affection for his little sister. When you're older, Katsumi, I'll teach you everything I know. We'll make an amazing team, using our jutsu to help those in need. Just you, me, and our cousin, Kai. Shizune, captivated by Katsumi's unique appearance and Naruto's commitment to his training, couldn't help but chuckle softly. Naruto, it seems your family is full of extraordinary individuals. With your dedication and Katsumi's enthusiasm, you both have the potential to accomplish great things in the field of medical ninjutsu. Katsumi's ears twitched with excitement as she listened intently. Do you think I could become a great medical ninja like Naru if I try, Shizune-sensei? Shizune's voice held a touch of warmth and encouragement. Katsumi, with your determination and the legacy you carry within you, there's no doubt you could become an exceptional medical ninja. Your unique qualities will make you stand out, just like your mother. Katsumi's eyes gleamed with determination and a hint of mischievousness. I can't wait to become a powerful medical ninja like Big Brother. Little sister, I'm only learning this just as case if our healing factor goes off or if somebody managed to cut us off from healing. One cannot be too careless. Naruto said with Shizune nodding her head to that statement. Flashback ended. Katsumi, he whispered back to himself as he reflected on that wonderful memory. With the injured Morlocks and Angel on the path to recovery, Naruto shifted his focus to Jean, Kitty, and Hank McCoy, his eyes brimming with determination and a newfound idea. Taking a deep breath, Naruto approached them, his voice filled with enthusiasm. Jean, Kitty, Mr. McCoy, I've been thinking. Since my short time on your world, I have noticed that some of your world natives have the chakra network like my people does. I know because I can sense it. Well, mainly those who you called mutants seem to possess it from what I was able to sense from. Since mutants in this world have a chakra network just like in my world, I believe it's possible for you to tap into that energy and learn the art of medical jutsu. Jean, her telepathic abilities attuned to the thoughts and emotions of those around her, met Naruto's gaze with curiosity and intrigue. Medical jutsu. It's an incredible concept. Are you suggesting that we can combine our mutant abilities with this chakra to heal and help others? Naruto nodded, his blue eyes shining with conviction. Perhaps, Jean, but by accessing your chakra and learning the fundamental principles of medical jutsu, you can harness a powerful form of healing and aid the X-Men in a new way. It's about expanding our abilities and finding innovative approaches to protect and support the team. He wanted to teach them this because he felt they will be a very effective group if they can heal their teammates or those who got injured in a crossfire. Kitty, her natural curiosity piqued, chimed in with excitement. So, you're saying we could become mutant medical ninjas? That sounds amazing. Naruto chuckled, appreciating Kitty's enthusiasm. In a way, yes. By learning to manipulate your chakra, you can unlock new potentials and tap into the art of healing. It would be an incredible asset for the X-Men. Beast, his scientific mind already buzzing with possibilities, stroked his furry chin in contemplation. Naruto, this idea holds immense potential. The merging of our mutant powers with the ancient knowledge of chakra manipulation could revolutionize the field of medicine and enhance our ability to aid not only mutants but all those in need. Naruto's smile widened at Beast's enthusiasm. Exactly, Beast. Together, we can explore this untapped potential and train the X-Men in the art of medical jutsu. We'll combine our unique gifts, blending mutant abilities with the wisdom of ninjutsu, and create a force for healing like never before. Next time we won't have to worry about a big loss to innocent lives. Jean, her telepathic connection reaching out to Naruto, conveyed her support and gratitude. Naruto, we appreciate your willingness to share your knowledge with us and your belief in our abilities. We'll work together to unlock our chakra and master this art of healing. It's an incredible opportunity, and we're grateful for your guidance. Kitty, her excitement barely contained, added with a playful grin, I can already imagine all the good we'll be able to do, Naruto. You basically will train us in the way of the ninja. I can imagine it now, mutant medical ninjas saving lives and healing the world. Naruto's eyes gleamed with determination as he concluded, that's the spirit, Kitty. Together, we'll embark on this journey, and I'm certain we'll achieve great things. Let's bring the power of medical jutsu to the X-Men and make a difference in the lives of those who need it most. I'm sure Scott, Logan and Charles would be thrilled by this. Hank told Naruto as they watched Kitty and Jean talked among themselves very excitedly. With Xavier, Fury, Captain America, Iron Man, Cyclops, and Wolverine inside the planning room. In a high-tech meeting room at the Xavier Institute, Professor Xavier, Cyclops, and Wolverine sat across from Nick Fury, Captain America, and Iron Man. The urgent matter at hand was the recent attacks by the Marauders on the Morlocks tribes in both Babel and New York City sewers. Xavier, his wheelchair positioned at the head of the table, began the conversation with a serious tone. "Thank you all for being here. These mercenaries, ruthless attacks on the Morlocks cannot be ignored. We must take swift action to protect these communities." Nick Fury, his eye fixed on the situation, leaned forward. "Agreed, Xavier. The mercenaries are becoming a dangerous threat. We can't allow them to wreak havoc and endanger innocent lives." Captain America, his strong presence commanding attention, spoke next. "The safety and well-being of the Morlocks are of utmost importance. We must find a way to stop the mercenaries and prevent further harm." Wolverine, his claws glinting under the room's lighting, growled lowly. "These mutants traitors need to be taught a lesson. We can't let them keep terrorizing the Morlocks. It's time to take them down." Iron Man, his suit emanating a cool confidence, nodded in agreement. "With the right technology and resources, we could track them and bring them to justice. But we need a plan to counter their attacks effectively." Cyclops, his focused gaze hidden behind ruby quartz lenses, interjected. "The monsters have proven to be cunning and dangerous adversaries. We need to strategize and coordinate our efforts to neutralize their threat." Xavier, his voice steady and resolute, brought the conversation back to a focused point. "Our combined strengths and resources give us an advantage. We must work together, sharing our knowledge and skills, to devise a plan of action that will halt the mercenaries' activities and protect the Morlocks." As the discussion continued, ideas were exchanged, intelligence shared, and plans began to take shape. The scene depicted a convergence of two worlds, mutants and superheroes, uniting against a common enemy to safeguard the vulnerable and restore peace. They settled on exchanging each other contact information as they keep each other in the loop. The Avengers left to head back to New York City to inform the rest of their teammates what the next course of actions. Only Fury stood behind and dare ask the question. Nick Fury stood alongside Professor Xavier, Cyclops, and Wolverine, his piercing gaze focused on the task at hand. Curiosity burning within him, he couldn't help but inquire about the mysterious newcomer, Naruto, who had joined forces with the X-Men. Fury, his voice gruff yet controlled, broke the silence. "Xavier, I've noticed the presence of this new recruit among your ranks. He's proven himself useful in these types of situations. I can tell the kid is a soldier, but I need to know more about him. Where did he come from? What are his abilities?" Xavier, his calm and measured demeanor unchanged, met Fury's gaze. "Our new recruit is Naruto Uzumaki, codename Marvel." He decided to inform Fury, knowing that Fury won't let this go unless he has some information about him. "Naruto is a recent addition to our team, Nick. He possesses unique skills and brings a different perspective to our missions. As for his origins, I'm afraid I cannot disclose all the details at this time." Cyclops, his visor glinting, added, "Naruto has proven to be a valuable ally. His combat skills and strategic thinking have made a difference in our battles. We trust him, and he has earned our respect." Cyclops added that in to help Naruto out. Wolverine, his arms crossed and an air of guardedness surrounding him, grumbled, "Kid's got a mean set of claws on him, and he ain't afraid to use them. That's all you need to know for now." Fury, his eyebrow raised, sensed their reluctance to divulge more information. Realizing the importance of trust among allies, he decided not to press the matter further. "I understand the need for secrecy, Xavier. If he's proven himself to your team, that's enough for me. Just keep an eye on him and let me know if anything changes." Xavier nodded, appreciating Fury's understanding. "Of course, Nick. Rest assured, we maintain a close watch on all members of the team. If anything arises that requires your attention, you will be promptly informed." Fury straightened his posture, a sense of mutual respect apparent. "Good. We all have a duty to protect and serve, Xavier. If this Naruto can contribute to that cause, then I won't question it further. However, if he is proving to be a threat to this country, no to this world." He said that last part on purpose. "Then we are coming in hot and fast." With their conversation reaching a conclusion, the tension in the room eased, and both parties recognized the importance of collaboration and trust in the face of shared challenges. As they parted ways, Xavier, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Fury understood that they were united in their goal to safeguard the world, even if some secrets remained guarded for the time being. Meanwhile, Gambit and Rogue entered the Xavier Institute, their steps slowing as they noticed the somber atmosphere that engulfed the school. Concern etched on their faces, they sought answers from Nightcrawler, who stood nearby. Rogue, her southern accent tinged with worry, spoke first. "Kurt, what's going on? The place seems tense. Did something happen?" Nightcrawler, his eyes reflecting a mixture of sadness and determination, nodded in acknowledgement. "Rogue, Gambit, we faced a grave situation. A group of mutants, including Sabretooth, attacked the Morlocks in their own home, the sewers. It was brutal, and lives were lost." Gambit's eyes widened, his Cajun accent carrying a sense of disbelief. "Maze, what? How could they do such a thing? We've gotta do something about it." Nightcrawler's expression hardened as he continued. "We did fight back. The X-Men, the Avengers, and Naruto joined forces to defend the Morlocks in 2 different locations. We managed to push the attackers back, but it was a fierce battle. Angel got hurt, but Naruto is healing him and the surviving Morlocks." Rogue's concern deepened, her voice laced with determination. "Did anyone get hurt? Are the Morlocks okay?" Nightcrawler nodded solemnly. "Some Morlocks lost their lives, and others were injured. We managed to save many, but it was a harrowing experience. We're doing our best to heal the wounded and provide them with shelter and support." Gambit's fists clenched, his anger simmering beneath the surface. "We gotta find out who's behind this and make him pay. Nobody messes with the Morlocks or innocent folks." Nightcrawler placed a hand on Gambit's shoulder, his voice steady. "We share your sentiment, Remy. We're investigating, gathering information to bring those responsible to justice. The X-Men and the Avengers won't rest until we find a resolution." Rogue glanced at Gambit, her determination mirrored in her eyes. "We'll help too. The Morlocks deserve justice, and we won't let this slide." Nightcrawler smiled, grateful for their support. "Thank you, Rogue, Gambit. Your aid and determination will be invaluable. Together, we can find those responsible and put an end to their atrocities." As Wolverine and Cyclops entered the room, they noticed Rogue and Gambit engaged in a serious conversation with Nightcrawler. The determined expressions on their faces piqued their curiosity, prompting Wolverine to speak up. "Wonderin' what's goin' on here, bub," Wolverine grumbled, his adamantium claws glinting under the room's lights. Cyclops, his stoic gaze focused on Rogue and Gambit, chimed in, "Seems like something important is being discussed. Mind filling us in?" Rogue turned towards them, her voice filled with conviction. "We just found out about the attack on the Morlocks, Scott. It's not right, and we wanna help. They deserve justice, and we won't stand by while these monsters keep hurting them." Gambit, his eyes reflecting a fiery determination, added, "We know the terrorists are dangerous, and we can bring something to the table. We're willing to use our skills to protect those who can't protect themselves." Wolverine crossed his arms, his gruff voice carrying a hint of approval. "Don't doubt ya both can handle yourselves in a fight. We can use all the help we can get, against those traitors. Just make sure ya don't let personal vendetta cloud your judgment." Cyclops nodded, his tone serious. "We appreciate your willingness to assist, but we have to be cautious. The Marauders are a dangerous group, and we can't afford any missteps. We need to coordinate our efforts and work as a team." Rogue met Cyclops' gaze, her expression determined. "Don't worry, Scott. We'll follow your lead and work together. We know how important it is to stay focused and protect the innocent." Gambit smirked, his confidence evident. "Besides, we're not just some hotheads jumping into battle. We know how to strategize and adapt to the situation." Wolverine grunted, his respect for their resolve evident. "All right then, we'll give ya a chance to prove yourselves. But remember, we're a team, and we watch each other's backs." Cyclops extended a hand towards Rogue and Gambit, a gesture of solidarity. "Welcome aboard. Let's make sure those monsters regret the day they ever crossed paths with the X-Men." As Rogue and Gambit shook Cyclops' hand, the room filled with a sense of determination and unity. The X-Men knew they could count on their teammates to stand strong and fight for justice, as they prepared for the next upcoming confrontation with the Marauders. only for their moment to go quiet as Wolverine grew angry when he caught wind of Magneto's scent as the man in question entered the school. He unsheathed his claws, but was stopped by Xavier, who wheeled up beside them. "Logan, my friend, please stop. I've invited Eric." Magneto used that moment to explain the situation. "I was briefed on what has happened, and I seen the footage of the Avengers fighting a particular mutant." Logan pulling away his claws, not liking this one bit. "Oh yeah, who is that?" Cyclops asked. "My youngest daughter, Lorna, but you may know her as Polaris." Magneto said, not happy to learn that his youngest daughter has surfaced, and she is being controlled against her will. The next following weeks, in the bustling danger room of the Xavier Institute, the X-Men gathered, ready to embark on a new training session. Logan, having received Xavier and Cyclops' approval, took the lead with Naruto by his side. The room hummed with anticipation as the team prepared to delve into the mysteries of chakra. Logan's gruff voice commanded attention as he addressed the group. "All right, listen up. Today, we're gonna learn something new. Naruto here's got some insight on this thing called chakras, since he has been helping for the past few weeks on our training and being more alert to our surrounding. It's gonna help us enhance our martial arts and adapt to different situations. Pay attention." Naruto stepped forward, his vibrant blue eyes filled with enthusiasm. His new custom-made outfit began with a sleek, form-fitting black bodysuit, providing him with the flexibility and ease of movement necessary for his shinobi skills. The suit featured vibrant orange accents that symbolized his energetic personality and paid homage to his signature dark orange look. Over the bodysuit, Naruto wore a sleeveless, high-collared vest in deep navy blue. The vest was adorned with intricate golden patterns that mimicked chakra pathways, symbolizing his mastery of ninja energies. The X-Men emblem proudly adorned his chest, signifying his membership in the team. To enhance his agility without compromising protection, Naruto wore black forearm guards with golden accents. These guards were intricately inscribed with ancient shinobi seals, serving both as a defensive measure and a visual representation of his ninja heritage. On his legs, he wore form-fitting black pants tucked into durable navy blue boots with golden trim. The boots were designed for swift and silent movement, allowing him to traverse any terrain with ease. Completing his ensemble, Naruto wore a navy blue cloak with a high collar, reminiscent of a shinobi's cloak. The cloak featured intricate golden patterns that glowed with energy. Additionally, Naruto's outfit included a navy blue headband adorned with a golden emblem that combined the X-Men logo with an iconic star. Worn across his forehead, the headband represented his commitment to the team and his unique blend of abilities. Kitty winked at him, liking his new look. Digital cookie, if they can figure out what his costume look like, there is an Easter egg to it. It custom made, but some of the outfit is very foreshadowing on who he is going to become later in the story. Hello everyone, thanks for having me. Chakra is an energy within us that we can tap into to enhance our physical and mental abilities. It's like a well of power that we can draw from. Cyclops, his visor gleaming, raised an eyebrow. So how exactly does it work? And how can we incorporate it into our own skills? Naruto grinned, eager to share his knowledge. Chakra flows through channels in our bodies called meridians. By learning to control and manipulate this energy, we can enhance our strength, speed, and even use special techniques. Each of you has your own unique abilities, and chakra can help you tap into them even further. It can also enhance certain of your normal abilities such strength, speed, mental, and durability, but only if your body is capable of it. Jean Grey, her telepathic abilities inquisitive, chimed in. Does it require any specific training or exercises? Naruto nodded, his blonde hair shifting with the movement. Exactly. We'll start with some basic exercises to help you feel and control your chakra. It's about learning to focus your energy and direct it where you want it to go. We'll incorporate it into your martial arts techniques and build from there. Beast, his scientific mind intrigued, interjected. Fascinating. This chakra concept seems to resonate with some of the energy systems we've studied. I'm eager to explore its potential further. Logan, his interest piqued, crossed his arms. All right, let's get to it then. Naruto, show him how it's done. Naruto nodded and began guiding the X-Men through a series of exercises. He explained the fundamentals of chakra control, emphasizing the importance of focus and visualization. As each member practiced, Naruto offered guidance and encouragement, helping them tap into their latent chakra and incorporate it into their combat techniques. Amidst the flurry of movements and the growing understanding of chakra, the danger room became a crucible of learning and growth. The X-Men, guided by Naruto's expertise, explored the depths of their own potential, seeking to master this new energy and harness it to become even more formidable. As the training session continued, a sense of camaraderie and determination filled the room. The X-Men embraced the challenge, eager to unlock the secrets of chakra and push their abilities to new heights. With Naruto's guidance, they ventured into uncharted territory, ready to adapt, evolve, and face whatever challenges lay ahead. Each day they have chosen to train was new determination to get better and be one step of their enemies so that they can protect the innocents. No one complained about the training even if Naruto's training was an advanced training than what they were used to with Logan. At times they others watching them trained, sometimes it was other students and other times it was one of the Morlocks. Xavier with Magneto watched from the danger room control room. Magneto, with a curious yet impressed expression, leaned back in his chair. "Charles, where on earth did you find someone like Naruto? His training methods have clearly made a difference in the X-Men's abilities. I have never seen them grow stronger so rapidly in only a couple of weeks and days." Xavier, sitting across from Magneto, nodded knowingly. "Eric, Naruto isn't from this world. He hails from a world where the mutants on his world possess a unique energy called chakra. It's a power that combines elements of mutant abilities and traditional shinobi arts from my understanding, and according to him it is something even us mutants can do. He wants to teach them an advanced form of healing, something I have found out that he can do. I gave him the codename Marvel based off that extraordinary ability of his when he first disclosed about his world and his struggles throughout his life." Magneto's eyes widened in surprise. A world where mutants and the mythology of shinobi coexist. Fascinating. That certainly explains the incredible skill set Naruto possesses from what you're telling me. But why was he hidden away all this time? Xavier sighed, his gaze distant as he delved into Naruto's backstory. Naruto's world is plagued by constant conflict among mutant shinobi and other mutant factions. It's a war-torn world, and Naruto himself fought in many battles from a young age. He has experienced more hardship than any young man should. Magneto's expression softened with empathy, understanding that scenario very well. Such a heavy burden for someone so young. It's remarkable that he maintains such unwavering determination and spirit. Xavier nodded in agreement. Indeed, his resilience is truly remarkable. He carries the weight of his experiences with him, and it fuels his drive to create a better world. Naruto seeks to protect others and prevent the conflicts he witnessed. Magneto's gaze fixed on the distance as he contemplated Naruto's potential. If we can harness his unique abilities and experiences, he could become an invaluable asset to our cause. His understanding of both mutant and shinobi worlds may offer new perspectives and strategies. Xavier clasped his hands together, a small smile playing on his lips. "I believe you're right, Eric. Naruto possesses the power and determination to make a real difference. We are fortunate to have him as part of the X-Men." Xavier turns his attention away from the screens and towards Magneto. "Eric, we need to address the safety of the surviving Morlocks. After the recent attack by the Marauders in their tunnels, it's clear that they are in grave danger." Magneto showing concern. "I've heard of the attack. Those tunnels were their home, a sanctuary away from the judgment and fear of the surface world. How are they faring now?" Xavier pauses, choosing his words carefully. "Some of the Morlocks that managed to escape and find refuge here at the school. They're understandably shaken, but physically unharmed. I've assigned a team of RX men to ensure their safety and provide any necessary support. Also, Naruto feel very involved and want to provide any assistance he can for them." Magneto leans forward, his expression troubled. "I appreciate your efforts, Charles. But is this truly the best course of action? The Morlocks have been living in the tunnels for years, finding solace in their unique community. Bringing them here could make them vulnerable to further attacks." Xavier gentle but with firm approach. "I understand your concerns, Eric. However, their safety is of paramount importance. These hunters have proven themselves to be a formidable threat. By relocating the Morlocks here, we can provide enhanced security measures and the expertise of our team to protect them." Magneto sighs, but still feeling conflicted. "I suppose you have a point, Charles. As much as it pains me to see them uprooted, their lives are in immediate danger. We must prioritize their safety above all else. Xavier nodding, I'm glad you understand, Eric. It is our duty to protect those who cannot protect themselves. We will work together to ensure the Morlocks find security and stability within our walls. And, if possible, we will find a way to reclaim their tunnels in the future. Magneto feeling resolute, agreed, Charles. We cannot let these monsters terrorize innocent mutants any longer. We'll do whatever it takes to provide a haven for the Morlocks and bring justice to those who have wronged them. I will do my best to find them and make sure they are brought to justice for their crime against innocent people. Magneto's face became tense as his voice is filled with emotion. Charles, all my life I fought for what I believed was best for our people, for mutants. I wanted a world where we could live without fear, where we could embrace our powers and be accepted for who we are. But now, I've learned of a mutant group out there, hunting down their own kind for sport, and what worse is that they have my Lorna. Xavier turned his attention back to the X-Men training, focusing on the screens of the control room. Wolverine and Naruto are doing an excellent job in helping the team build their strength and endurance. But I can't help but worry about Lorna. She's now a part of this group, and I fear she's being controlled against her will. Magneto watching intently, his expression grave, I share your concern, Charles. Lorna is my daughter, after all. It pains me to see her in this situation. Xavier turns to face Magneto, I understand your anguish, Eric. We must consider the possibility that she's being manipulated or coerced by others, and according to Jean describe about this mutant called Malice that may be the case. Lorna has always been strong-willed, and I find it hard to believe she would willingly join forces with this group. Magneto leans back, crossing his arms, you speak the truth, Charles. My Lorna, whom I left in the care of her mother and half-sister, was taken so easily without my knowledge. I have searched tirelessly for my former lover and her other daughter, but I could not find them. It's as if they vanished from the face of the earth. Xavier feeling sympathetic toward his friend, I can only imagine the pain and frustration you must feel, Eric. The world can be a cruel and unpredictable place. We need to find a way to reach out to Lorna, to free her from whoever is controlling her. Magneto nods, determination in his eyes, I agree, Charles. We cannot let this injustice go unchecked. I will use all my resources to locate Lorna and bring her back to safety, no matter what it takes. Xavier puts a hand on Magneto's shoulder, we'll do it together, my friend. We've faced countless challenges before, and we've always come through for our students and those we care about. Lorna is no exception. Eric, I understand your sorrow and anger. It's devastating to realize that there are mutants who would turn against their own kind, betraying the dreams we both shared for a united mutant community. Magneto voice tinged with disappointment, it goes against everything we worked for, Charles. How can some mutants stoop so low, preying upon their own kind? We should be standing together, empowering each other, not tearing each other down. Xavier gently placing a hand on Magneto's, I share your pain, Eric. The actions of this mutant group are a tragic betrayal of our collective aspirations. But we must remember that not all mutants are driven by the same principles and ideals. Some succumb to their darker instincts, or perhaps they have been influenced and manipulated by external forces. Magneto clenching his fists, eyes burning with determination, regardless of their motivations, Charles, we cannot let this injustice continue. We have fought for equality and acceptance for mutants, and that fight is not over. We must confront this group, expose their cruelty, and protect our own. Xavier nodding in agreement, I stand with you, Eric. We cannot allow the actions of a few to tarnish the potential of our entire mutant community. We will use our resources and the strength of the X-Men to bring these hunters to justice and protect our fellow mutants from harm. After the training session, the X-Men disperse to attend to their tasks or assist the Morlocks. Storm, feeling the need to spend time with her nephew Evans, makes her way to the living area where he usually spends his time. Evans is sitting on the couch, engrossed in a book that was picked out for him by Hank with the same little girl with bones sticking out of her. Storm smiling warmly while she walks up to her favorite and only nephew, Evans, may I join you? Evans looking up, his face lighting up, Auntie O. Of course, please sit. Evans feeling excitedly signal for the little girl with bones sticking out of her to approach them, Aunt Aurora, I want you to meet someone. This is Sarah, but we called her Mero, and she's a new friend I made, well more like a little sister. Mero shyly looked at them. Hi, Aunt Aurora. It's nice to meet you. Storm smiling warmly. Hello, Mero. It's a pleasure to meet you too. Evans has spoken highly of you. Evans proudly stated, Mero is really cool, Aunt Aurora. She has unique powers and can do amazing things. She is like another me except without the flaming bones that I can do. Mero blushing at the comment, thank you, big brother Evans, but you're pretty amazing too. Storm with a gentle tone, Mero, it's wonderful to have you here. If you ever need anything or have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. The X-Men are like a family, and we're here to support and protect each other. Mero gaining confidence, thank you, Aunt Aurora. Evans has told me about how the X-Men are like a family like us Morlocks, and it feels nice to be a part of it. Evans grinning, see, Mero. I told you Aunt Aurora is really nice. Storm laughing lightly at her nephew's comment, I try my best, Evans. Mero, I hope you'll feel at home here with us. The X-Men and the Morlocks have faced many challenges together, but we've always come through for each other. Mero with a spark of excitement, I'm excited to be a part of the team, Aunt Aurora. Evans has shown me how amazing it can be. And I want to help protect mutants like us. Storm placing a hand on Mero's shoulder, your determination is admirable, Mero. We'll do everything we can to support you and help you develop your powers to their fullest potential. Remember, you are never alone here. Evans grinning proudly, Mero, Aunt Aurora is one of the strongest and wisest mutants I know. She'll be an awesome mentor for you. Mero looking up at Storm, gratitude in her eyes, I'm grateful to have both of you in my life. Thank you for welcoming me, Aunt Aurora. Storm smiling warmly, the feeling is mutual, Mero. Let's continue to grow and protect each other as a family. Welcome to the X-Men. They settle on the couch, engaging in a conversation about Evan's interests and experiences. While with Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto heads to the kitchen to grab a snack, intending to refuel after the intense training session. He starts making a sandwich, gathering the ingredients from the refrigerator. Just as he begins, Kitty enters the kitchen, a shy but eager expression on her face. Kitty nervously walked up to Naruto, hey, Naruto. Mind if I join you? Naruto with a smile on his face, of course, Kitty-chan. I'd love the company. As they work together, Naruto assembling the sandwich with practiced ease with Kitty assisting, there is an unspoken chemistry between them. They have been training together, and their shared experiences have been bringing them closer. Kitty gathers the courage to inquire about their progress. Kitty feeling hesitant, Naruto, can I ask you something? How do you think we're doing, especially with accessing our chakra? And how am I doing? Naruto feeling thoughtful before answering, Kitty, I've been observing everyone's progress closely, including yours. I'm impressed by how far we've come, and you specifically. Your dedication and focus have been remarkable. I can see the growth in your chakra control and how you've been applying it to your abilities. Kitty blushing, a small smile forming, thank you, Naruto. Your guidance and training have been invaluable. I couldn't have made this progress without your help. Naruto grinning to himself, it's a team effort, Kitty-chan. We're all pushing each other to new heights. But I have to say, seeing your determination and improvement, it's been inspiring. You're doing fantastic. Plus, it gets my blood pumping knowing we are doing some training together with everybody. Hard work and determination can overcome any obstacle. Hard work and determination can overcome any obstacle. Not a bad motto to follow by. Kitty said impressed and trying out the motto for herself. Like where this motto come from if you don't mind me for asking. Naruto feeling prideful and eagerly to answer, a powerful martial arts sensei instilled those words into me. He is a bit strange especially on how he views life as youthful as it can be, but he is strong. Kitty-chan, let tell you a story when I first met Might Guy. Flashback start. Naruto finds himself transported back in time to when he was 12 years old, observing Might Guy training Rock Lee and Tenten from a hiding spot behind some trees, but with little sister seen playing with some dolls next to him, with awe and admiration at the training area dedicated to Team Guy near one of Konoha's forests. The training grounds are bustling with energy and determination as the trio engages in intense physical exercises and combat drills. Naruto watches as Rock Lee showcases his impressive taijutsu skills, his movements swift and precise. Tenten displays her proficiency with weapons, her aim and control impeccable. Naruto's eyes widen with excitement as he witnesses their dedication and determination, realizing the level of skill they possess. One day, amidst their training, Might Guy notices Naruto observe from the sidelines. With a bright smile and his trademark enthusiasm, Guy approaches Naruto. Guy energetically sensing Naruto's presence and looking right toward him and his little sister. Well, who do we have here? You seem quite interested in our training, young man. Would you like to join us? Naruto eagerly walked up to them with his little sister holding his hand, walking next to him dragging her doll. Really? Can I train with you guys? That good, because I'm impressed by how strong you all are and I'm looking to become better for my sister here. Guy patting Naruto's shoulder. Of course, my youthful friend. The path of the shinobi is one of constant growth and improvement. I see the fire in your eyes, the passion for becoming stronger. Join us, and together we shall soar to new heights. Naruto's face lights up with excitement as he eagerly accepts the invitation. Katsumi, make sure to pay attention to everything that happened here from now on, okay? Yes, big brother Naru. She said, walking to the side off the training area with her doll in her hands, looking adorable while her fluffy cat tail swing back and forth in excitement, something that got Tenten to coo it because she thought it was cute. From that moment onward, Naruto becomes a part of Team Guy's training regimen. Might Guy takes on the role of mentor, guiding Naruto on his journey to become a better fighter. The scene shifts to the training grounds. Each day there was a training, where Naruto finds himself paired up with either Rock Lee or Tenten for intense sparring sessions. Might Guy watches over them, offering guidance and encouragement, while Katsumi always paying attention, reminiscing their movement and technique as best she could. Guy feeling cheerfully with one of his famous nice guy poses. Naruto, remember that the key to becoming a great shinobi lies not just in raw power, but also in honing your skills and finding your own unique style. Embrace the challenges and push your limits. It is through facing adversity that we truly grow. Naruto feeling determined. I won't back down, sensei. I'll give it my all and become the best shinobi I can be. He dropped into a fighting stance where he stands tall and confident, exuding an aura of strength and determination. His body is slightly crouched, giving him a balanced and agile stance. He keeps his feet shoulder-width apart, firmly planted on the ground, ready to unleash his explosive attacks. His upper body is slightly tilted forward, showing his readiness to strike. His muscular arms are slightly bent, with his fists clenched tightly. Naruto's hands are positioned in front of him, close to his face, guarding against any incoming attacks. And, for those who figured out the stance, good job. And yes, it is Kyo's stance from King of Fighters, because I always like his stance as a beginner who learning to fight in martial arts. Yash, Neji is missing on these training. Lee said excitedly while adopting his famous fighting stance with one arm behind his back. Yeah, I know, but you know how Neji is, he shows up when he isn't busy with any Hyuga's business. Tenten said, readying herself in a stance. The sparring sessions are intense, filled with determination and friendly rivalry. Naruto learns valuable lessons from Rock Lee's perseverance and Tenten's precision, pushing himself to match their dedication. Under Might Guy's guidance, Naruto hones his skills, refines his techniques, and gradually becomes a more formidable fighter. As the training sessions progress, Naruto's bond with Team Guy deepens. They become not only training partners but also trusted friends, supporting each other on their individual paths towards greatness. But also, there was a hidden agenda for this, and Naruto only concerns is for himself and his sister to become stronger so that no one can get in their way when the time for a change of scenery become possible. Flashback ended. A genuine warmth fills the kitchen as they exchange appreciative glances. The conversation continues, now touching on their shared experiences during training, the challenges they've faced, and the bond that has begun to form between them. As Naruto and Kitty spend time together, seeking each other's opinions and support, a gentle affection starts to bloom. The sparks of a budding romance dance in their eyes, but both are still hesitant to voice their true feelings, fearing rejection or misunderstanding. In this moment, they find solace in their shared connection, their unspoken emotions becoming a bridge that draws them closer. Naruto and Kitty sit together in the kitchen, their plates filled with sandwiches. The room is bathed in a warm glow, creating a comforting atmosphere for their conversation. Naruto's expression carries a mixture of determination and concern, while Kitty listens attentively, her eyes filled with empathy. Naruto taking a bite of his sandwich. Kitty, I want to share something with you. Training with Guy-sensei, Rock Lee, and Tenten was a crucial part of my journey. It taught me the value of hard work and determination, especially when it comes to protecting the ones we love. Kitty nodding, for these past days in training, I've always admired your unwavering spirit, Naruto. Your commitment to becoming stronger is truly inspiring. Naruto pausing for a moment, but you know, Kitty, it's not just about my own strength. I want Katsumi to understand the importance of hard work too, like I do. When the time is right for us to be with the Uzumaki clan, I want us to be strong enough to face any challenges that come our way, because it wasn't going to be easy to us to up and leave Konoha giving who we are. She placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. Naruto, I understand your concerns. It's only natural to worry about Katsumi, especially given the circumstances. But you've taught me that we can't let fear consume us. I believe Katsumi is safe with the Uzumaki clan, and we'll find a way to reunite you with her when the time is right. Naruto grateful for Kitty's support. You're right, Kitty. I need to trust in the bond we share as siblings and have faith in Katsumi's strength too. We'll protect each other, just like a true family. However, as her older brother I have the right to worry, especially since that one time she almost got killed by pain. He thought that last part to himself while fighting back that horrible memory he does not want to face right now. Kitty smiling reassuringly, exactly, Naruto. Together, we'll continue training and growing stronger. And when the time comes, we'll face any challenges head on together, united as a family that what the X-Men are. Naruto's face softens with a renewed determination, and he takes another bite of his sandwich. The worries he carries for Katsumi are not entirely gone, but a sense of hope and determination fills the room as they both understand the importance of their training and the strength they possess. As they continue to enjoy their meal together, the kitchen becomes a space for more than just sandwiches. Something else is happening outside the school and near the forest. Naruto stopped what he was doing because he felt the murderous intention coming from the direction of the forest near the school, which he walked near the window and looked at the direction where he is sensing the danger. Kitty picked his concerns and looked at what he is looking. Scott entering the kitchen with such haste as he took was picking up an uneasy feeling, but before she could ask neither one of them on what going on, Naruto spoke firmly. Contact the professor. They are here, he said while Kitty's eyes widening and Scott already shouting in his head to Professor Xavier of a potential attack. Meanwhile at the same time, Moira McTaggart sits at the controls of a small plane, her eyes focused on the horizon ahead, flying as fast the plane can go. Seated beside her is a young boy with blonde hair, radiating an air of intelligence and kindness. Across from them sits a strange-looking techno-organic alien named Warlock, his form shifting and morphing in an otherworldly manner. The plane hums with anticipation as they engage in a crucial conversation. Moira glancing at the blonde boy as she pilots the plane. Douglas, I need you to understand the gravity of this situation. Our only chance to reach Xavier is through this perilous journey. Douglas looking serious yet determined. I know, Moira. We must get to Xavier and warn him about the impending danger. That Sinister and his marauders are just a small part of the problem that will be heading toward Mutantkind. We must protect Self-friends from the imminent threat. Self will do whatever necessary. Warlock spoke, his metallic voice resonating with concern. Yes. Moira nods, her gaze fixed on the path ahead. Xavier's school will be under attack if memories served me correctly, and we must reach him before it's too late. Our resources are limited, but with your intellect and powers, Douglas, and Warlock's unique abilities, we have a fighting chance to make a difference this time for Mutantkind. Douglas leaning forward, his eyes filled with determination. I won't let our friends down, Moira. I'll use every ounce of my knowledge and ingenuity to assist in any way I can. Self will protect and aid. Self-friends are precious, Warlock said while shifting his form, displaying a mix of determination and concern. Time is against us. We must stay focused and work together. The fate of the mutants, Xavier, and the entire school rests on our shoulders. Moira said firmly. As the small plane soars through the skies, carrying Moira, Douglas, and Warlock towards their destination, a sense of urgency and determination fills the air. Their mission to reach Xavier becomes more than just a journey, it symbolizes their commitment to protect their friends and the mutants they hold dear. Meanwhile, the Marauders, led by Scalfunter, march through the dense forest, their determination palpable in the air. The team of deadly mutants moves with purpose, each member aware of their mission's significance. Scalfunter gathers the group, ensuring their attention is focused on the task at hand. Alright, Marauders, listen up. We've got unfinished business with the Morlocks and the X-Men, but that's not all. Our esteemed boss, Mr. Sinister, has a particular interest in a certain individual, Naruto. He wants him captured alive. Scalfunter standing tall, addressing the team. Sabretooth, Arclight, Blockbuster, Riptide, Malice, Mind-Controlled Polaris, Min-Controlled Vanisher, Vertigo, Prism, and Scrambler listen intently, their expressions revealing a mix of anticipation and cruelty. Scalfunter continuing, our plan is simple yet effective. Malice will use her control over Polaris to manipulate Vanisher, our new addition, and teleport us inside Xavier's school once the security systems are down. Sinister's gadgets will ensure a seamless entry. Riptide grinning wickedly, taking the fight directly to Xavier's students. This will be a bloodbath. Scalfunter nodding, exactly, Riptide. We're here to make a statement. No mercy, no survivors. Sabretooth growling, finally, a chance to let loose and unleash some real chaos. Scalfunter smirking, that's the spirit, Sabretooth. Once inside, we'll strike hard and fast. Our main targets are the X-Men and Naruto. Capture Naruto alive, no matter the cost. Sinister wants a personal meeting. Vertigo with a sadistic grin, oh, this is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see them squirm. Scalfunter his voice filled with menace, remember, Marauders, this is more than just revenge. We're here to show them the consequences of crossing us. Prepare yourselves. The battle starts soon. As the Marauders share a chilling camaraderie, their murderous intentions hang heavy in the air. With Scalfunter's guidance, they ready themselves for the assault on Xavier's school, driven by a mix of personal vendettas and their sinister allegiance to Mr. Sinister. The stage is set for a deadly confrontation that will test the resilience of the X-Men and determine the fate of Naruto, who finds himself unwittingly drawn into a dangerous game orchestrated by dark forces. Thank you for listening. I do hope you guys enjoy. If you guys enjoyed this, what if you want a next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below and turn on the bell notifications, and also check out the other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.